Y'all. So let's talk into this. So, I like to do the disclaimer, the disclosure first, then we're going to jump into the trading reviews. So, please note that the following is not legal advice or financial advice and is provided for informational and educational purposes only. Investing in securities carries a high degree of risk and can result in the loss of your entire investment. You should consult with a qualified financial advisor or legal professional before making any investment decisions. The information contained in this presentation does not constitute an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities or financial instruments. Any opinions expressed in this presentation are subject to change without notice and should not be relied upon as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Please do your own due diligence and research before making any investment decisions. All right, now with that being said, we can get it popping and getting into the trading recap. The trade of the day was calls on Robinhood. Calls on Robinhood. So y'all know I like to show you my breakdown first, and then we can get into the actual live charts. So let me squeeze this down into this little box right here, right quick. And then we will get into where it was at. So let's go to the trading chat room. Yo, thank y'all for coming through. Uncle Buck, I see you. Josh, Kenny E, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? So today, before the market opened, 6:15 a.m., I said I'm currently looking at Hood and XLE for potential plays, potential calls for Hood, and then potential puts for XLE. Now, the play of the day was calls on Robinhood. That's what came through clearly, and had already charted this out from a few days ago. Basically, this is the 30-minute chart, but I got it zoomed in, and this big orange area was the support and resistance zone that I charted out on the daily chart. And then I have a blue shaded triangle, which was the area for entries that I put. Now I know we could barely see it here. So let's go and bring up the live chart on TradingView so we can really get down and check it out. Now, where's TradingView? Of course, TradingView disappeared. So we got to search for it on the computer. There it is, first app to pop up, and we can get popping and check this out. So, like I said, the play of the day was calls on Robinhood. Came through really good. A matter of patience, just taking your time, jumping into it. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank you for rocking with me. Alice, I see you. Jackie, keep fight. I see y'all. I see y'all. Okay, here we go. So here is our Robinhood chart. Let's bring it all the way down so we can get it into the screen here. Boom. And we're gonna bring it down some more. There's that. Let me close this up. All right, here we go. And so now y'all can see it, right? Now you can see it. And I'm going to start off with the daily chart so y'all can see more of my rationale. So here's what I charted out for Robinhood on the daily chart. I want to turn off these EMAs right quick. But here's what I charted out on the daily chart for Robinhood. And we can see the support and resistance zone, at least as what I charted, it formed back in late March, right? Price got up here and came down. Now, if you're a new trader or if you're new to my TikTok lives are all about giving value to beginning options traders or beginner traders out there. So one of the things that I definitely believe in when it comes to price and how price moves is that support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So back here at the end of March, what we're seeing is that, this was a resistance area for Robinhood. It came up and then pushed back down or dropped back down. And then it came and fought to be in the support and resistance zone for a few days. And then once we created this broadening formation, right, these two white lines, I looked at it as somewhat of like how Robinhood was going to play and bounce around. So if we zoom in here, I notated to my Discord that this would be a potential entry for calls in this area. And I know it's a little hard to tell because I've got that indicator on. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. But just like I was saying a few days ago, that this was going to be a potential entry for calls. And then if we break it down to the smaller time frame, what we can see is it played out really cool. And I'm not trying to act like you predict anything. We didn't get in here. We have some strong bearish movement. But then going into today's candles was able to get in and then take this ride up, which is really, really nice. Really good. Juanito, Lady Movado, thanks for coming through. Jarrell, Big Bubbly Badass, Smoke 2819. I see y'all retired and reselling. I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank y'all for the likes. A quick 200 right there. Looks like we got about 19 of us. So if you're tapped in with me and you did any trading today, drop a one in the chat. If you did any trading, drop a one in the chat, whether you're an options trader, a Forex trader, commodities trader, futures trader, if you're a Pokemon card trader, if you trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards, If you trade anything like that, if you did any trading today, drop a one in the chat. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank you for the likes. Ashante Everhart, thanks for coming through. Crypto Birdie, I see you. But like I said, this was the play of the day. This is the 30-minute chart for Hood. I talked about entry in this blue shaded area for calls to get into for calls. And then I want to show you, right? I actually like to show you all the receipts. We're jumping back to the Discord. We'll go down to Curtis G's trades. And this was a super quick one, right? This was super quick. This was Hood calls at 6:50 a.m. So if you're a little confused about the timestamps, just remember I'm in California. I'm on the West Coast. And so my trading time is 3 hours before East Coast time. So for me, the market opens up at 6:30 a.m. and it closes at 1 p.m. So 20 minutes after the market opened, I got into those Hood calls about 15 contracts, and I spend about 1,000 each trade. I typically, at this stage of my trading journey, I don't like to spend more than about 1,000 per trade. That's solid for my risk management and my account size. And then it just took a couple minutes, and then I got a nice little almost 10% return, $90. I know for a lot of people that might be not worth your time, or it might be like super small, like whatever. But you got to remember, most Americans are not making $90 in an hour, let alone $90 in just a few minutes. And on top of that, 10% is a good return. Don't scoff at it. Just remember the next thing is getting your discipline up and then just scaling up from there. So this could easily be a $10,000 trade and this would be 900, or it could be a $5,000 trade and this would be 900, or $3,000 trade and 900. So the whole name of the game is just to build it up. Now I'm not no super crazy trader where I'm going to show you that I made tens of $1,000s every single trade. What you guys are going to get from me is conservative trading and lots and lots of base hits, compounding those base hits over and over. All right, all right. Let me check the comments. Let's see what's going on. LEU, thank you for the follow. I see we got a few people rocking with us. Let's see. Let's see. M Castillo, thank you for the follow. I see you. MB174 says no trades today. Need to demo. That's good. You know where you're at. You know where you're at. I love that. I love that. MB says, can you demo on Robinhood? Unfortunately, you cannot do demo trading on Robinhood. And if you're a beginner, I would recommend, at least if I was to do things differently, I wouldn't get started on Robinhood. For me, what happens, and this is just my opinion, um, what happens with Robinhood is it's perfect and it's good for beginners in terms of the user interface and how easy it is to navigate around the app and get in your trades. But as you develop as a trader, you're going to realize that there are certain features and functions that you want that Robinhood doesn't offer. Namely, one of my favorite things is the trailing stop loss, right? So let's say you're in profit in your trade, and as the trade starts to dip back down, your trailing stop loss will kick in and then get you out of the trade with those profits before you lose them. Robinhood doesn't have that. And so as you develop your skill set as a trader, you're going to be looking for those types of functions that it doesn't have. Now, if I was to go back and tell myself starting from zero to do something differently, I would start with Webull. Webull has paper trading, and you can do your trailing stop loss. They have hotkeys. They have quick little things to set up your trading defaults the way that you want that you could customize. And on top of the paper trading, Webull actually, you can connect it with TradingView. So you can trade directly from TradingView with your Webull account. So if I was to go back and talk to myself, I would say, yo, don't get caught up in trading on Robinhood. Yes, it's very easy, but you're going to get to a stage as a trader where you want more. All right, all right. Alex says, what are good long-term trades? MB says, I got friends who trade. I believe he uses Trade Locker. Uh, all right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Jeremiah J. Thank you for the follow, my guy. I appreciate you. So for Alex, Alex says, what are good long-term trades? Now, Alex, are you just talking about trading the stocks, or are you talking about options trading? I primarily do options trading. And it's kind of like a trick question. It's a loaded question. If you're talking about good ticker symbols to trade for a beginner, that's pretty easy, right? You want to trade ticker symbols that have a lot of volume. Of course, the easy ones are SPY, QQQ, Apple, Amazon, things like that, where you can find lots of contracts that can be relatively cheap. I'm talking about like under $100 that you can get into. You can buy multiple without breaking the bank and having to go crazy on your account. Now, if you're thinking about just a long-term swing trade, the number one that I got my eye on right now, I haven't developed a thesis yet in terms of what I would like to see for the trade to come through. But the number one that I have right now is Caterpillar. Let me go to daily chart. We're talking about CAT. Now, Caterpillar, as we can see over here, let me close this, give us some more room. All right, so here's Caterpillar. I've been charting it just a little bit. We've got a nice drawback, right? We're way down here, but I'm thinking that it's going to line up perfectly for some good long-term swing trades, some good long-term swings on the contracts. I haven't started looking at the contracts yet, but this is what I really have my eye on. The next step in my research that I want to take a look at for doing some long-term swings on Caterpillar is just to do some analysis to see how do they typically do towards the end of the year or going into the last part of the year, right? We're in June. What would some of those contracts or the price action look like in September, October, something like that? So that's what I would say. Caterpillar has a nice drawback. It was at a high of 380, and now we're way down here in 326. Let me bring this over so we all can see it. Hold on, y'all. Right over here. So that's the biggest long-term play that I have. There was another one that is on my eye too, which is Home Depot. Let me check the comments. Yo, Mike, thank you for the follow, my guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Flippin' Flicks just joined your live. What's your main trading strategy? So right now I have a couple. There are essentially three that I lean upon in terms of like a daily basis. One is really, really cheesy, but I'm super proud of it because I did all of the back testing work. And so I actually have a video on this, which is on my YouTube channel, but I'm going to give you guys a quick summary. What I've noticed in my back testing strategy on the 30-minute chart, if a bullish engulfing occurs above the previous day high, then there's an 80% chance that the very next candle on the 30-minute chart is going to be a green candle as well. So I'm a scalper, and that works out perfectly for me, right? Bullish engulfing 30-minute chart. If it occurs above the previous day high, there's an 80% chance that the very next candle is going to be a green one as well. So at that stage, the number one thing that I have to figure out is or determine how much of a pullback is that entry candle going to have, or how much risk am I going to have in terms of like my stop loss. So that's one of my favorite ones. I'm proud of it just because somehow I recognized it, I saw it, and I went back and I back tested like 200 instances. As a matter of fact, I'll bring up my back testing log. And like I said, I talked about this in my YouTube channel. Which one is it? I'm missing uh it's not on here. Oh snap. Oh, here it is. Manual backtest log. So I'll show y'all. All right, Matsushiro, thank you for the follow. Or Shuhiro. Frank, do you pay for TradingView? I do, Frank. I do pay for TradingView. If you are a new trader, I would say sign up for the free version. And then if you get to a stage where you feel like, hey, I need to have that premium functionality, then go for it. It is a little pricey, not to pocket check anybody, but it all depends on, what you consider. It's all relative, right? What we consider pricey or expensive. But here's the marker, right? For a lot of these things that we have to pay for traders, resources, and things like that, here's a way that you can determine whether or not you should pay for it. If you're the type of person who gets like a new phone or a new car and you automatically sit down and take your time to figure out all the new features, all the functions, all the bells and whistles, then go ahead and pay for the premium or the full version of TradingView. If you're the type of person like most of us, when an update comes out for the iPhone or the Android and you don't discover it until one of your friends talks about it, or you never use it, or you see something on TikTok, then I would say wait to pay for it. So I hope that makes sense. If you're the type of person that rolls up their sleeves and you're like, yo, I'm going to figure out all these features, I'm going to use all of them like the back of my hand, yeah, pay. But if you're like most of us and you only use a few things and there's all this technology out there, then I would say wait until you have a need for it. All right, all right. Good live so far. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. But like I was talking about, somebody asked, what are my main trading strategies? I'm going over one that I back tested. Let me make sure I'm on the right tab. I don't think this is the right one. Let me shrink this down so we all can see. Give me just one moment. But this is one that I'm super proud of. Where is it at? All right, here we go. So this is an Excel sheet that I did, and I did this manually. So that'll tell you how dedicated I am. And this is my bullish engulfing that I tested out. Let me go ahead and go to data. Let's clear all of the filters, and let me move this over, shrink it down so we can see more of the rows. Wait, all right, all right. We got a lot going on. But if you see over here the row count, right? This tells you all the times that I went back and back tested it. Look, all the times, all these instances, I went way back and I back tested this all the way back tested every single one of these instances manually. Manually, I went back and looked at the charts all the way. You can look at all these instances that I back tested this strategy right here. And so what I did was I took a simple formula that added a probability or a percentage for each category of the setup that I'm looking for. The key ones being, was it above or below the previous day high, above or below the previous day 50%, and then above or below the previous day low. And then some other things. I can explain those if you guys want me to. But then what I did was I determined, was the next candle a green candle, which is what I was looking for. If it was, I gave it 100. If it wasn't a green candle, I gave it a 0. And then I added a formula here that tells me the overall success rate. So then I wanted to figure out, okay, I need to set a threshold that'll tell me at a minimum, this is when I'll enter a trade. And for me personally, I only want to enter trades that have a 70% or higher probability of being successful. So what I did was I went and I filtered and I played with all the different combinations here. And what I found was, if there is a bearish engulfing that occurs above the previous day high, so I'll take out the filter for anything below, and there were no bearish lead up candles, meaning there was only one red candle before the bullish engulfing. So I hope that makes sense. So you guys let me know if you're following me. And so then what I did was right here, I took out all the ones where it was multiple lead up candles, just to 0. Then we'll come back over to our probability and look at this. Out of all the instances, the 200 and plus instances that I back tested, there's an 80% chance that if you see a bullish engulfing that occurs above the previous day high and there's only one bearish candle in front of it, there's an 80% chance that your candle that you enter in on is going to be green. All right, Juju says, I'm sorry, when you say back tests, what do you mean? So, Juju, back testing is the act or exercise of, you have your defined parameters for your setup or your strategy, and then you go back into the past on your trading software, your trading platform that you use to do your stock charting. So, the industry standard, or what most people use, is Trading View. This is Trading View right here. And so what you do is you go into the past, right? We're time traveling. You go into the past, and each time that you see your setup present itself, you go in and you log and you say, okay, was the setup successful or was it not successful? I went in manually. I went back 200 times. I saw my setup. I put it into my manual backtesting log. And then I was able to assign a formula that would tell me the probability at it. Every time I went back into the past and I counted it, I put it into my log. And then now when it presents itself in the future, my log could say, hey, oh, there's only a 70% chance, or there's only a 50% chance that it's going to be green, or it's going to be the way that you want it to be. So I hope that makes sense. And is the person, let me see who it was that asked. Let me see. Yo, Chris or Chastian, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing the live. Is that Kashi Patel? Kashi Patel, I appreciate you. Who was it that asked? Who is that asked? And y'all bear with me. I know when we get the likes going and the comments flowing, it's kind of hard. Sometimes TikTok doesn't show you all the comments, so I have to like kind of go back through and scroll and try to find them. But let me go back through and see who asked that question. Oh, Flippin' Flicks. Flippin' Flicks, are you still in? Are you still in the live? That's one of my main trading strategies right there that I just gave to y'all. So you guys try it out. Tell me if it works for you. Tell me if it doesn't work. If you need me to repeat it, if we want to go through it again, let me know in the chat. All right, that's what's up. All right, cool. So Flipping Flicks, did that make sense to you? Do you want me to go through it again? Do you have any questions? That's one of my main ones. Another one that I have that I haven't quite got as good as this one is one that I call the mountain highs or the valley lows. There's basically reversals. But I'm really trying to fine tune it so that I can get it like this one where it has like an 80% chance success rate. Teresa Gonzalez, thanks for coming through. Afro Boy, I see you. Frank says, are you a tutor slash mentor by any chance? Not quite, Frank. I mean, if you're in the Discord, I'm definitely down to answer questions. We do a weekly Q&A session, and most of the time it's only one person that joins anyway in the Discord community. So that's like as close as I come to doing like mentoring sessions. I try not that I'm against them. It's just what I found from myself is I pour so much into the one-on-one sessions that like hours of my time goes by. And I don't want to be one of those people that like, okay, you got to pay me so much money. But I started to get to that point where I was like, yo, I don't, it's kind of, I'm so passionate about it, but it's kind of hard for me to justify just giving hours of a time to one person when I needed to try to figure out how can I scale. So what I landed upon was the Discord community, and then each week before the market opens, like on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evenings, we go live. Usually it's like one or two people from the community that join, and then we just ask, they ask questions, we go through. So it's so interesting because years ago I started off doing one-on-one sessions and it didn't feel like nobody really cared for them. Now you fast forward to 2024, I stopped doing them, and that's all people ask for now. So it's the way life is, right? All right, let's see. Flip and Flick says, "Do you do simple CSPs or covered calls?" I'm getting back to covered calls, so I'm stacking up my dough to do covered calls. Right now, I'm in the regular like buying options contracts. I'm with the buyers. We're trying to flip it for a profit, but I really do like covered calls, especially if you've got enough money to get one of those nice, wholesome, like hefty tickers like SPY, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft. So I'm in the stage right now where I'm stacking up my dough, stacking up my money so I can get 100 shares or something like that, and do it. The odd thing is, like, my mom has 100 shares of Nvidia, and I'm like, yo, what do you do with those 100 shares over there? All right, Diana Sanchez, thank you so much for the follow. You don't know how much that means to me. Let me see who we got. Who we got? El Flaco says, "How can I start?" I got some free videos on the YouTube. You can head over to the YouTube, and if you like the videos, if you feel like you're getting enough value from the videos, then come join the Discord. But that's the way I would approach it, right? I understand, and I didn't really realize this because a lot of my trading journey, I wasn't exposed to like what people were already doing. And so when I finally got to the stage where I was like sharing my stuff or starting a Discord and all that, I didn't realize how bad the scamming was until I was like talking to some of my friends, and they're like, bro, I'll never do Discord again. And it's so much scamming out there. So I understand, right? There's a lot of scamming going on. So the best that I can do is give value up front for free to the best I can. And if you're rocking with it, come check us out in the Discord. Come through. We're having a good old time. But yeah, so like I said, if you want to know where to start, you can start off on YouTube. Um, Check out my YouTube channel, and it doesn't have to be me. There are plenty of good ones. I'll start off with my YouTube channel, and then I'll show you all the ones that I look at and that I listen to like on a daily basis, right? So I have two YouTube channels. You can go to Curtis G24. Let me bring that up. You can go here to Curtis G24 to that YouTube channel. And then I have a more formal one that has like courses that you can start off with. And you can go to Passive Income University, head over to Passive Income University. And then this one has like the formal long format courses. So this was one that I just did a couple weeks ago called Option Mechanics Part 2. And so this is about 2 hours, and I go through all of the things that I'm currently looking for right now in this era. So it's a very new course. It's a very new um, body of content, if you will. So I would say start there. So you've got Curtis G24, Passive Income University. Those are my two YouTube channels. And then if you want somebody that like I look at every single day, who, in my opinion, I think is probably one of the best traders in the world, it's a young dude by the name of Kia Killy. The only thing is he only goes live on Twitch. So I'll show y'all his Twitch channel, and you can make a note. You can make a note what his Twitch channel looks like. It is, where is he at? Where is he at? Right here. Here's his Twitch channel. This is what his Twitch channel looks like. So if you're on Twitch, he streams live every day from at least 3 days a week. And then other than that, another good one is Tori Trades. I'll show y'all Tori Trades. She trades commodities and futures, I believe, or just commodities. Uh, Tori Trades is a good one. This is her right here. She's a real good one that I look at her content on a weekly basis. And then there's Mossy Trades. Mossy Trades is really good. I feel like Mossy Trades is probably one of the most transparent traders out there. Mossy Trades is one I look at her content on a daily/weekly basis. Hers is really good. I really like hers. And then lastly, for the beginners out there, there is Sarah Strat Sniper. I feel like if my girl sees this video, she's gonna be like, "So you only look at female traders, women traders?" So I hope she does. If hey baby, if you see this, this is just right now. All right, you know what it is. But Sarah Strat Sniper, she's another really good one, especially if you're a beginner trader and you want to learn a methodology for trading called the Strat. Sarah Strat Sniper is a good one. All right. What we got? What we got? All right, Frank says, what broker do you recommend for starters? So I said this at the beginning, Frank. If I could go back in time and do something differently, I would start with Webull. Webull has like the full service, right? You can do paper trading or demo trading. You can actually connect Webull directly to TradingView for your trading. And then they have a lot of the functionality and the features that Robinhood doesn't have, right? So I started off in Robinhood. I'm very comfortable in Robinhood, but eventually you get to a stage as a trader where you need certain functions, especially to help you execute faster or to be on it. And Robinhood doesn't have it. The number one thing that I can think about is trailing stop loss, right? So for those of us that are new and we don't know what a trailing stop loss is, a trailing stop loss is basically, let's say you're in a trade, you're up in profit, right? Let's just say you're up $500. You can set a trailing stop loss that follows that profit at like 15% or 10%. So let's say it's at 500. If it drops down 10% and your profit, it'll automatically get you out of the trade so you can still capture that profit and have a winning trade. Robinhood doesn't have that. It doesn't have trailing stop loss. So it's things like that. So I've learned, I had to learn the hard way because I'm super comfortable in Robinhood and I'm kind of like one of those, if you guys ever watch Hey Arnold, y'all remember the episode with Stoop Kid when Stoop Kid was afraid to leave the stoop? It's kind of like that with Robinhood. I do have a Webull account and I do have Thinkorswim. I'm putting money over there bit by bit. And eventually, when my account size gets pretty breathable, I'll go over to Webull. But for the most part, as y'all can see, I trade Robinhood. There's some Webull screenshots way, way, way back. But I would say to answer your question, I would start with Webull. All right. Living Less Complicated says, recap the traders, please. I can't write that fast. My bad. My bad. Okay, so we start off from the top. Let me go. We're gonna start off from the top one by one. And then Living Less Complicated. You tell me when you get them, all right? So we'll start off with yours truly. We've got me, Curtis G. There's my YouTube channel. I upload videos and things like that on a daily and weekly basis. My This YouTube channel right here is a little bit more casual and informal, Curtis G24. But if you go over to my formal one, Passive Income University. So here's the next one, Passive Income University. If you go over here, this has my long format formal videos. So these videos are like an hour plus, but they're more like courses where, I break things down and things like that. So there's Curtis G24. There's Passive Income University. All right. Denny, thank you for the follow. Living Less Complicated. All right, we're gonna go over to the next one. So the next one is on Twitch. He's not on YouTube, and it's a young brother by the name of Kia Killy. He is my all-time top favorite trader right now. Dude is just like a monster. He's just crazy how you could give him any ticker symbol and he just knows, oh, this one's already outside weak above the the 4 month, da, 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 there's a gap. There's like, as soon as he gets a ticker symbol, he knows everything about it. So he goes live daily on Twitch at least 3 times a week, if not more. But he's only on Twitch. So that's the only thing. So you have to get on Twitch to be able to see his lives. But this is Kia Killy. All right, Living Less Complicated. You with me still? We still got him. Cool, thanks. And then, all right, we got two more. We got two more traders that I follow on a daily/weekly basis. The next one is Tori Trades. Tori Trades is pretty cool. I was following her for a while on Instagram, but it wasn't until recently that I really, really started like getting into her content. I think part of it is she trades commodities and I trade options. So that was like a barrier in my mind. But of course, as we all know, as traders, right, a lot of the concepts are the same: price action, supply and demand, support and resistance, EMAs, all that kind of stuff. So I've been listening to a lot more of her content. And then we've got Mossy Trades. Let me go over here. Mossy Trades is another one who's really, really good. Mossy Trades, to me, is probably the most transparent trader that I've ever seen in terms of showing wins and losses. And so that's why I really like her content, because she's not like embarrassed to show, oh, this is where I messed up, or whether this is where the market faked me out, or this was a mistake that I made. So I really like her content because she's very transparent. All right, for sure, El Flaco. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any comments or questions. The Cosmic Serpent, thank you for the follow. Frank, thanks for the follow. All right, all right. FPV Zaid, are you still in the building? I don't remember what you were laughing at. All right, all right. El Flaco, I hope that answers that questions. Makes sense. Is there a link to the Discord? Frank, there is. It's in the bio. Somebody asked me, how many funded Apex accounts do you have? I've never had a prop firm account. I've never had a funded account. I've always traded with my own money. And I'll be real with you all. I've really started to change my stance on funded or prop accounts or funded accounts. I used to be slightly against them. I really wasn't rocking with them, but I've been pushing myself to kind of have a different view, so on like Twitter or X, I've been like in some of those spaces where people have the debates, and so I'm starting to look at prop accounts differently. But to answer your question, I've never had a funded account or a prop account. I've had to learn the hard way by losing my own money, tens of thousands of dollars over the years. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Let me keep up with the comments. Let's keep up with the comments. Oh, the all girls comment you said, yeah. And I'm pretty sure my girl's probably in here like, uh-huh, whatever. But I mean, there's other traders, but right now, like I try to give y'all the most up-to-date information. And so right now, like the ones that I'm listening to on a daily, weekly basis are those traders. Um, but let me give me a second, y'all. Let me just do a recap on this hood trade. So this was the trade of the day. I did hood calls on Robinhood, of course. I want to show anybody that's new that just joined the live exactly what I was looking at. So we've got Robinhood. We'll bring it back to the daily chart. And what I charted out originally, the first thing that my eyes saw was that there was this support and resistance zone on the daily chart for Robinhood. Now, if you're new to trading, one of the things that I firmly believe is that support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So what we saw over here back towards the end of March was this zone right here acted as an area of resistance on the daily chart. So when the price of Robinhood came up here on the daily, it struggled and then it got pushed back down. And then it really fought, right? It's really in here fighting. It's like, yo, I'm not coming down up out of here. I want to break through. Of course, there's still a little bit of a struggle because we're on the daily chart. But what I charted out some days ago was this potential entry. It looks really, you can't really see it because these indicators are kind of in the way. But I said this area is kind of shaded in blue. You can barely see it. But I said this area was a good area for entry for calls. This is what I had kind of charted out, right? But I want to check one thing. I just want to double check one thing. Let's see if there was another support and resistance area before for, look at that. Let's see. I'm just now looking at this. I'm just now looking at it. Let's see how accurate we were. Let's see if that still kind of holds true back over here. And not quite. It kind of does, right? Price came down and then bounced up a little bit, and then it came down and just fell through here, but somewhat. But if we go all the way to the future, here we are. Boom. So then I break it down to the 30-minute chart, and I kind of draw some trend lines. So now on the 30-minute chart, you can see a lot more of that pattern starting to form, right? It comes up here and bounces down, and then we bounce up, and I'm waiting to kind of get it right where I want. If you can get up here for some puts, get up here for some puts. If it comes on down, get up in here for some calls. Get up in ya and get up in ya. But this is what I'm looking for. Now you can see a little bit more of that shaded area that I drew out. And so I was saying that this area will be a decent area for calls. And so I got in a little bit late. I hesitated. And so that's one thing that I put in my trading journal, not to hesitate. You've got to follow your instincts. You really got to follow your instincts and stay on it. So this was like the primary candle. Let me zoom in and make it bigger for all of us. This was like the primary candle that I should have got in today, right? And I did get in on this candle, but I waited till it was about right up here, which is not a good move. I should have got it right when it bounced off my trend line and took those calls for the ride up. Fortunately, I was able to get in. It was at 6:49 my time. I rode it up a little bit like I said, I'm not a greedy trader. When I'm doing scalps, I typically aim for about 10% and then I get out and go. But I could have held on to them and I could have let some runners run. That's another area where I got to improve and get out of my comfort zone. And let me show y'all, because I'm not just talking to talk. Let me show you. So if you did any trading today, do me a favor. If you did any trading today, drop a one in the chat to tell me that you logged it in your trading journal. If you're new to my TikTok lives, I mention that every single time I go live. One of the most important things you can do is log your trades in your trading journal so you can see where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, all of that. Now I want to show y'all because I put it in my trading journal. There we go. Let me bring it up for y'all. Let me bring it up. Let's bring it up. All right. Where did I put it? How can I shrink this down? Um, Let me move this way. That's the only thing, right? You gotta have the format. But here's my trading journal. I want to let me move myself out the way a little bit. Okay, y'all. So, jeez, that's the only thing about trying to do it on TikTok live. Let's bring this over here. Okay. So if you needed an example of a trading journal, this is for the beginners. All right. So I know there's a lot of us out there that are like, yeah, 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 yap session. I don't need a yappuccino. Right. But this is for the beginners, right? We want to show love to the beginner traders out there. I not just highly recommend, but I implore you and I insist that you get a trading journal. Now, I have two. I use TradeZilla, which is an electronic trading journal that connects directly to your broker. And then I use Excel, which is a manual one that I go in and I input the data to. So I have an entry date, exit date column, what symbol was I trying to trade, the style, what was my signal slash entry time, did I follow one of my predefined setups? That's super important. Was I basing it also with a little bit of a pattern type, right? Was I trying to do some confluence? And then we want to get into the key things that talk about your emotional intelligence, right? That's really, really important. It's really, really important for you to tap into what your emotional intelligence is. So you guys can see in one of my trades earlier this month, I felt very rushed and frantic. You got to be real with yourself when it comes to that. There was another trade where I felt calm and peaceful. And I could do a lot better with my trading, but let me show you guys. So this is the scalp today for Robinhood. I know the formatting's a little crazy, but just bear with me. I did feel calm and peaceful in my emotional intelligence, but I had a big improvement opportunity. Follow your instincts and execute. Don't hesitate. Think of how you feel about the scenes in the movies where the characters are talking too much. I could have limited. I can't even read it behind TikTok. I could have let some winners run. That's another thing. And then I have areas of success. I took my profits quickly. All right, all right. Frank says, "What time frame do you usually trade in?" So I'm primarily on the 30-minute chart, and that's like my sweet spot. Even though I'm a scalper, and if you go to Google or YouTube or Ask, they'll say that somebody who's a scalper typically should be trading on, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 10 minute. For me, for some reason, it's a lot of noise. Like when my eyes look at the 1 minute chart or the 5 minute chart, it's just too noisy. For some reason, everything just makes more sense when I'm looking at it on the 30-minute chart. So you've got to take some time and see which one of those chart frames works the best for you. So I usually start off at the daily time frame, maybe the weekly, to do my overall trend. And then once I establish an overall trend on the weekly or the daily, I'll come on down to the 30-minute and tighten up my trend lines or tighten up my support and resistance zones. And I typically trade off of off of the 30-minute chart. All right. Diana Sanchez, thank you so much for the live. We ran up the likes. We ran up the likes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. So I went over the trades. We chopped it up. I like that. I like that we chopped it up a bit. But if you guys want to know what I got my eyes on next, the next that I have is I've got my eyes on Caterpillar. Um, I kind of should have already got into it, but I'm thinking long-term swing calls on Caterpillar. Long-term swing calls on Caterpillar. The only thing is I was taking a look at some of the contracts today and they're not very liquid. And that's usually a big like, I typically don't want to trade unless The contracts have like the volume and the open interest is in the high hundreds or the thousands. And I really didn't see that with Caterpillar. And then the other thing that I'm looking for today is I got my eyes on Home Depot. Now, Home Depot, we did trade a few weeks ago, and I should have stayed into it. I'd probably be up a few thousand% right now. But if we go to Home Depot, that's another one that is still kind of good. Now, I'll show y'all right now. I'll show you right now what I was looking for on the Home Depot that was charted a long time ago. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, wow. Wow. So originally down here in this support zone, and you can go back and look at my past lives or my videos on YouTube, we got into Home Depot on this green line down in here. We got into Home Depot on this green line. I held it to about right here, then I got out, but I should have stayed in it because it came all the way up here. I could have let some winners run. Actually only had like two contracts, so maybe I could have let one run, but I got out way too prematurely. But the interesting thing is, look at that. After all this time, it's dropped back down. And so it looks like Home Depot was just trying to go in and find these gaps that need to be closed. So if you're ever looking at my chart, I usually shade or I usually chart out gaps with a white shaded rectangle. So all of these were gaps that needed to be filled when I originally entered the Home Depot calls, right? And we can see that that's literally what the market makers are doing, is literally just going to fill these gaps. They're gapping up all around just to try to close these. But I still have long-term bullish sentiment, at least for the rest of this year on Home Depot. Those would be my two long-term ones. So if you want some ideas on what I'm looking at in terms of long-term swings or calls expiring at least like September, October, November, I would look at Caterpillar and I would look at Home Depot. All right, all right. We ran up the likes. This was a good live. This is a good solid one. I appreciate it. But with that being said, I'm gonna tap out, head out, you guys. I was just trying to jump in really quick, show some love, see what was going on with the TikTok streets, the TikTok fam. Of course, if y'all got any questions, don't hesitate to holla at your boy. All right, peace. Okay.